At the beginning of the story, we see a college student in a red tracksuit, jogging while enjoying the song Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams. She goes towards the woods while jogging. Then she sees a doll on the way. She stops and looks at her. Then suddenly someone attacks her. We hear the voice of a wild animal and the scream of that girl too. The song is still playing on her iPod. In the next scene, Nick Burkhart comes out of the jewelry shop after buying a wedding ring for his girlfriend. Outside, his partner Hank takes pictures of him. Both are detectives in the Portland police. Then both see a beautiful girl, and they start guessing what that girl will be like. Suddenly she morphs into a hag, a change that nobody else notices. Nick and Hank are investigated for that student. They find the girl's severed hand and a shoe there. He starts wondering which wild animal must have done this. They also get a boot print there. Nick hears the sound of the music. He follows and reaches iPod. Then they reach the precinct and talk about getting the DNA of that corpse done so that its identity can be found. A man being charged briefly changes into a lizard-like being, and again, no one but Nick notices. They learn that university students went jogging but did not come back. They go there to inquire, where her friend tells them that she went jogging in the morning but has not returned yet. She gives her friend's photo from her iPhone. He also asks how she wore the shoes. She tells that pink Nike. Now they know the name of that dead girl is Sylvie. In the night, Nick meets Aunt Marie in the house. He asks, "When did you come?" Nick asks, "How are you?" We can also see Nick's girlfriend Juliet here. She tells that Aunt Marie narrated some stories from his childhood that were funny. Nick hugs her and she whispers, "We need to talk." Aunt Marie tells Nick that I am in the last stage of cancer, and now I am not going to live long. I have many things to tell you. Nick asks why I didn't come earlier. She says I couldn't come. There are some things you don't know about, such as your family. Do you see some strange things live you can't describe? Seeing Nick, she understands that he is seeing these things. The misfortune of our family is already passing to you. I know you love Juliet very much, but it's in her best interest to leave her. Nick didn't understand anything. Only then they are attacked in the form of an animal like a human. In order to save Aunt Marie, he kills that creature by shooting bullets. Then suddenly his face turns into a normal person. Aunt Marie gives Nick a small antique key and tells him to protect it with his life as they want it. Aunt Marie is admitted to the hospital. Tells Nick that there is such a power in us that we can see that no one can see. You're a Grimm. I had to tell you many things, but I have very little time left. You can know the rest of the information from my trailer. Never lose what I have given you. The locket that Nick got is actually a key. Captain Sean Renard comes to Nick and says that the man he killed was a criminal. It is very difficult to kill someone for the first time. I'm glad you did a good job. Nick goes to the trailer at night, where he also sees very strange books and weapons. Then Juliet also comes there. The next day they do a further investigation into Sylvie's case. Those people try to know about the footprint of that boot. Then we are shown a postman who is wearing the same type of boot, and he is chasing the little girl who is wearing the red jacket. Aunt Marie is now in a coma. They get a missing report of a girl who did not return home from school. Captain Sean organizes a meeting of all the officers and asks them to search all the places from school to home to find that girl. Nick and Hank went to Berkeley Park to find that girl. There they find the girl's school bag. They get the same boot impressions as Sylvie. Nick follows those marks and reaches a house. He sees the changing face of the man who looked like a wolf. Nick runs and catches him, and asks him where is that girl. Then the police team comes and searches his house. But they don't get any clue. Nick is very sure that this person has kidnapped the girl. Hank asks, "What do you see in it that we are not able to see?" At night Nick reads the books in the trailer, and he sees the same face as he saw this morning. At night Nick keeps an eye on that man. While Nick was keeping an eye on him, suddenly the man jumps out of the window and jumps on Nick to scare him. Then he brings him inside the house and offers him a beer, and starts asking Nick, "Have you seen more like me? I had heard a lot about you guys but had never encountered them. You be Grimm." He tells that my ancestors used to tell stories about you guys. He tells him that I am not like the rest. I do not kill people anymore. He himself calls blood bad. Nick gets surprised and asks, "What did you say?" Vulgarized by your ancestors as the big, bad wolf, which is written in your books. Nick asks, "Do you know about books?" The man says, "Yes, of course. You guys have written a lot about us in the last 200 years. Nick tells that I am searching for a missing girl. Can you tell me where I can find her? The man tells him that I am a watchmaker, and I have nothing to do with all these things. Nick says that Bloodbad must have picked him up too and you have to help me to find her. In the next scene, we see the man with the boot who brought the little girl to his house and put her in his basement shut off. He used to pick up only those girls who wore red-colored jackets. Nick and the man set out to find the girl where the man sniffed and looked for her because he was a Bloodbad. He gets the smell of that kid, so he lets Nick apply wolfsbane so that their scent doesn't reach that kidnapper. Both reach the house where the little girl is placed. Nick calls Hank. Then they both go to the kidnapper's house. They start questioning him. Then the kidnapper tells them that I am a postman. Both detectives look at his shoes, but he does not get the crime scene boot. While they were going out, Hank hears the same song which he had heard on Sylvie's iPod. He goes back to that house, but now it was dark. The kidnapper attacks them and starts running. Hank shoots him and he falls there. His face also changes from a wolf to a normal man. Nick asks about that girl, but that kidnapper calls him Grimm. They search the house again and this time they find the little girl in the basement. That same night when Nick goes to meet Aunt Marie, there comes the same girl who we saw in the starting. She was about to give an injection but Nick stops her and he faints. And that girl goes straight to Captain Sean, indicating both are plotting something. He asks, have you done the work? She says he was there, maybe next time. This episode ends here. If you like the explanation, please subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for watching.